Hey, what's up guys? Today's video we're going to be working on the Dodge Viper, and we're going to be continuing with the valve covers and the baffles on those. So today's video we're going to start with the baffles. We'll see where we end up. We'll get the car back running so we can move it over here and finally get to work on some of the stuff that's pending. Here are the valve covers, bulletproof, powder coated them, and I just finished cleaning them up. So I just washed them a bunch of times, got any of the sandblasting sand that was in there, got it all out. So I washed it, degreased it a bunch of times to make sure they were perfectly clean. And then I have these upgraded baffles right here in the box. So let's pop it open, see what's inside, see how they look, and we'll get working. Okay, so here we go. So I got these ones off eBay, and they were about 20 or 22 bucks a piece plus shipping. So not that bad, honestly. I know they're just like a small little thing, but for Viper stuff, you really can't complain. So there they are. They look almost identical, honestly, you guys. I thought they were going to be a little bit more beefy, but they look pretty much to be the same sort of flimsy-ish thing. But I guess that's what's called for. So there we go. There's the baffle. I don't know if there's any instructions or it's just a receipt. Just a receipt. And that's about it. They seem a little bit stiffer than the original ones, maybe, but still, as you can see, the same flimsy type thing. There's the original one. It's pretty much the same stuff, honestly, you guys. Alright guys, so I also cleaned off all of these screws as well. So they are screws, not bolts. So I cleaned them all off. I just, as far as these, because I pretty much just put them in a Ziploc bag, put degreaser in there, and kept shaking around and using the hose inside that bag until they came clean with degreaser. So I don't have a parts bin cleaner, so that was my method. So here's these, and I just checked quickly and they do fit nicely. So there's that. As far as if you guys are doing this at all, when I took it off there was silicone on around the perimeter, which is why Bulletproof had some issues getting them off clean, because there's old silicone or whatnot sealant holding these in. I did some research on the Viper forums. Some guys said that their valve covers had them as far as the sealant, and some didn't. So most of the people said don't worry about it as far as putting it on there. So that way they're serviceable now with these screws. So I'm gonna put some Loctite on these. I got my handle with my driver, and we'll go ahead and we'll just put these in. So pretty straightforward. We'll screw these on. Okay, so this one's all done. Pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and put this one in. Loctite on the bolts, screws. Let's go. One thing I want to mention to you guys, and I don't know if you'll end up doing this at all, but see how our crankcase breather is right here? And there's this little void here. You want to put that towards the back of the vehicle, because these breathers actually go in the front. And these things are notorious for you slam on the brakes, and this thing takes a big gulp of oil. So if you notice, this is where the oil returns back, so you don't want to put this opening at the front, otherwise that's going to make this happen. And you can actually flip these the wrong way, so you could technically have this over here like that, and then all of a sudden you got this big void right here, and your breather's there, which is no bueno. So we'll flip it back this way, fit it in, drop her down, we'll put our screws in. Alright guys, so finally these are both in. Let's go ahead and put them on the car. Okay, hood is open, and this is where we left it like 3 weeks ago. So we just covered over the heads and the rockers and stuff with paper towel on both sides. And I also, since I'm kind of being OCD about this one, cleaned off all the bolts. So we did the same thing with the degreaser, so they came out all nice and shiny. And if you guys are Dakota fans, we just got that package, and what that is it is Chassis Works rear shock extenders, so that the rear shocks are in their right range of motion, and hopefully gets the back end of this Dakota RT riding better. But that's gonna be a different video, so make sure you subscribe so you guys are notified on that video. But for now, let's pop off these paper towels and we'll put these valve covers on. so with all the valve cover bolts snug, we're gonna tighten them with the torque wrench to 95 inch-pounds. So 95 inch-pounds, and then we can move on to the other side. All right, guys, this is 1,000,000 degrees out, but I'm still working on this thing. So we'll slide this back on. Even though we're gonna be taking off this intake manifold soon, we'll push on our brake booster line. Everything's tight, and go over to this side. All right, guys, so I do have a few things to accomplish on the Viper today. I'm probably gonna separate the videos. I haven't decided yet. I threw the valve cover on there just with a couple bolts because you guys noticed that metal heater hose tube that goes across to these two heater hoses for the actual heater core. I have a new one because that one isn't doing so well, so I have a brand new Mopar one, as you can see right here, that I'm going to be putting on. And if I put the valve cover on, I think it's going to make that job a little bit tougher. So I want to get it over here on the lift and drain the coolant. So I've got a couple bolts holding it. It's going to be okay just for going out and going back in. I don't want to put every single bolt in, tighten them all down. It's just more work than it's worth. I'm literally going to start it, drive back up, and turn it off. So that's pretty much the plan. Let's move the S2000. All right, guys, so I have the car back over here. It's where the lift is, and reason being is I gotta dump the coolant and I have to change this, like I said. So I want to save that for a different video entirely on the cooling system, because all of these little old rubber hoses are getting replaced along with this hard line, like I mentioned, because mine was leaking over here. You can probably see I have a worm style clamp on it. The end of this hard pipe got corroded. I think it's from previous owner running water maybe, but I don't know the exact reason. But regardless, it was leaking there, and I had to put a worm gear clamp on it just to try to crank it down. So what I'm going to do in the next video is be replacing all these hoses, even the heater hoses that run down. You can probably see here, go down to the water pump. There's two of them there, and there's also this one that runs up to the tank here, this one, and it's pretty much all of them. So we're going to replace all those on the separate video because I want to keep that video dedicated to that. But you can see on the valve covers, they look great. I just have to put the extra little bolts in there and then tighten them to the 95 inch-pounds. So not a whole lot to see there, but I did want to share this with you guys and how it looks. And I'm honestly really liking the ghost lettering. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. It's really growing on me. At first I kind of wanted it to be like this. This is gonna end up getting taken off, as you know, for the supercharger. But now I'm really liking the ghost lettering instead of having it that brushed look. If I get bored of it, I can always knock off the powder coating on the lettering, but so far I really like it. And you can really tell the difference on this brand new red powder coating compared to this kind of faded at this point red stuff from, you know, pretty much 20 years now. So that's pretty much it, you guys, and let's wrap up this video. Okay, guys, so that's gonna do it for today's video. I know it might be a little bit short, not a whole lot going on, but I have a lot of parts that are due to arrive. About to get the boost gauge. You guys already saw that I got the AEM wideband O2 sensor gauge, and I have the dual gauge pod from Autometer showing up in the next day or so, and there's a bunch of parts that are showing up, and then we'll get underway. So I'm going to end up doing that crank pin kit from Rowe once we finish all the cooling stuff, all that sorted out. I'll do the crank pin kit. We can continue to run the car that way, and then I don't even honestly have to raise the car to put the supercharger on. So once I do the crank pin kit and that's running and, you know, that's finished, we can literally do the whole Rowe kit, supercharger kit, from the top. It's a matter of just taking off this intake manifold, bolting everything down on the top with our fuel injectors, fuel rails, and then just pretty much it. So I want to share that with you guys pretty shortly. We're getting there. I just want to do a bunch of preliminary stuff. I also have the 373 Mopar Performance differential that I want to finally change the bearings in, and I got all the bearings from Whatever It Takes Transmissions. They supplied all that stuff, so I do want to get that and get that back in the car, but I don't know if it'll happen before or after the supercharger. We'll see here shortly. We'll see here shortly. We'll see here shortly. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button so you're notified of all the latest videos. We got a lot on the way, a lot of projects, and a lot of cool stuff. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.